What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop. In this episode, we'll be talking everything Jack Ginnivin. Let's get into it. So Jack Ginnivin last season became a notorious, figure at Collingwood. He played from round one against St Kilda, where he had that infamous that GoPro incident, and Kane Corns, let him have it. He backed that up with just an amazing display all year. Won the Anzac Day medal, kicked over 40 goals, and he was definitely one of the first picked on the team sheet every Thursday night or whenever the bloody team sheets come out these days. And a fan favorite. Everybody absolutely loves him. They still do love him. Just a genuine crumbing forward. Knew where the goals were. Knew how to, nag the other players and get a couple of free kicks and stuff like that. But he was a genuine forward, someone that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. I think in a few videos last season, I compared him to Alan Didak as well. I think he has more career goals than Alan Didak at this same stage in their career. But then what happened? This preseason happened, and Ginnivin was filmed in a public toilet doing some illicit drugs. We won't really go into that too much. He copped a 4-week ban from the AFL and Collingwood. Couldn't play in our 2 preseason matches. Couldn't play in the first 2 rounds, but he is available for selection in round 3 against the Tigers. Now, the big question on everybody's lips and everybody's minds is, will Jack Ginnivin be a walk-up start to Friday night's game against Richmond? It's a really good question, and one that everyone's been asking ever since he copped that ban, in the preseason, and the emergence of Bobby Hill, especially in those 2 preseason games, the first 2 rounds. Will Hoskin-Elliott has been playing well. Reef McInnes as that super sub. Even the way Collingwood has just gone about it on field, there hasn't been anyone that you can kind of go, okay, well, he definitely makes it out for Jack Ginnivin. And I think, personally, and I'll get into why, Jack Ginnivin isn't going to get chosen to take on Richmond on Friday night, even though he can play. Now, you have to think that Jack Ginnivin hasn't played a full game of football for a while, right? So probably about 4 or 5 weeks. His last game was that intra-club match, and we know he went off at halftime with that huge gash across his knee, and he wasn't able to partake in the second half. So played one half of football there. What he has been able to do is put in a very hard training block. I'm sure Jared Wade and the other sort of trainers and coaches there have absolutely handed him to the ground. Craig McRae last week came out and said that he had to earn his stripes back. And now it's a genuine question of, if you do bring him in, who are you bringing out for him? And I honestly cannot see anyone that you bring out for Jack Ginnivin today. Don't get me wrong, he's an absolutely phenomenal player, and I think there definitely is a place for him in the team. But I cannot see anyone that you can take out of this team. Everyone has their different sort of attributes that they bring into the team. Like I said, Bobby Hill, he can play that crummer. He's got those that exciting sort of afterburners when he grabs the ball. Will Hoskin-Elliott, look, he did have a bad start to his 2023 season. A couple of clangers in the Geelong match, but did what he needed to do, especially against Port Adelaide. He was one of those guys that filled a role. Talked about it in my review, in my preview of the Port Adelaide game as well. He just fills a role, did exactly what he needed to do, and that's just, what Will Hoskin-Elliott does. He's not going to kick 5 or 6 goals a game. Does what he needs to do. Reef McInnes, super sub. Yes, he's only playing 15 to 20 minutes a game, maybe just a quarter a game. I think even Reef might have to go into the VFL a bit just to get, sort of 4 quarters into his legs. But I don't think that Jack Ginnivin starting as the sub is the way to go about it either, because Jack Ginnivin, you can do all the training in the world that you want. Nothing is going to replicate the vigors of an AFL match. And what I personally think Ginnivin needs to do is put in a good block of maybe 2 to 3 VFL games where he's averaging, 3 or 4 goals a game before he can even be looked at for selection. I said this a while ago on Twitter, and I think I got absolutely creamed on there that he isn't a walk-up start in round 3. I might actually revisit that a little bit later when team selection comes out. We'll see. But look, at that time, that was when the ban happened. People were like, no, he's a best 22 player. He's going to walk up. Look, he kicked 40 goals last season. I just don't see him playing on Friday night, and I don't see him playing next week. We probably won't see him until maybe gather round when we verse St Kilda up in Adelaide. But on the other side of things, there is a lot of things to consider. Jack Ginnivin, like I mentioned earlier in this video, he has a lot of positives that he brings to the table. He knows exactly where the goals are. He's a genuine crumbing forward. He's exciting. He can get into the Richmond players' heads, get a couple of free kicks, get the crowd going, get the 19th man, which is, us, Collingwood, the Magpie Army, can get us up and about. So on the other side, I can sort of see him coming into the team if they really want to sort of shock the Richmond sort of team and shock the AFL world for coming straight into a team that's scored over 250 points without him. So I can see that, but I just can't see him playing as the sub. He needs a 4-quarter performance, whether that's in the AFL or in the VFL. So let's say in this hypothetical scenario, Jack Ginnivin plays, he gets selected, he's in the AFL squad as, he's not playing as the emergency. Who could you then put as the emergency? I wouldn't put Bobby Hill because Bobby Hill gives us a lot. You see that run and that spread that he provides on the wings into half forward. We saw that a lot against Port Adelaide. Will Hoskin-Elliott is probably the only other one you could maybe consider. But Will Hoskin-Elliott, he's become the whipping boy for a lot of people, much like, a couple of the other players were last season. Will Hoskin-Elliott, yes, like I said, he's not going to score 4, 5, 6 goals like he was doing, in 2018 or anything like that when he was a part of that Swoop squad with Stevenson and Josh Thomas. What he does provide is he gets into the right space at the right time. We saw that a lot in the Geelong game. At the start, despite those clangers, but right before those clangers, his possessions that he was getting, right place, right time, he just didn't sort of deal with, he just didn't have that sort of correct disposal, and what he did with the ball wasn't that good. But he was intercepting and stuff like that. That's what we need him for. He provides a lot of run, again, down from halfback, down the wing and stuff like that. He's a very good link-up player, can take a really good mark, and he's good to pop up for 1 goal or 2. Does that mean that he'd make a good super sub? I really don't think so. I like the idea of Reef as that sort of super sub. But again, like I just said, Reef probably needs 4 quarters in the VFL just to get his legs running a little bit. Maybe put Josh Carmichael in as a super sub for this game or something like that. But that's, another story. I don't see who gets dropped for Ginnivin if he was to make the best 22 on Friday night against Richmond. So I am firmly in the camp of Jack Ginnivin needs to play in the VFL for at least 2 to 3 to 4 games. But look, anyway, that's just been my pretty quick video. I just wanted to get this out quickly to get some content for you guys and let you know my thoughts on Ginnivin, if he is Ginnivin or Ginnivout of the squad on Friday. Let me know your thoughts down below. I know this is probably going to split a lot of people. I'd love to know your thoughts. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll see you later.